Hey, kia ora. Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. Hope you're all having a super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1523. Are you ready? And you're probably going, ready? Ready for what? It's coming to the holiday season. I was walking Zeffie last night and there were quite a few front yards already decorated for either decorated for fall or decorated for Halloween. And I was like, okay. And one of them has like this really, really tall thing with a pumpkin head on top. It's one of those inflatable things, but I think you got to leave it up all the time because of how tall it is. And it's got this big pumpkin head on the top with these green lights. It's kind of a little spooky, which I suppose is the thing of it. But it got me thinking about the holidays. And one of my favorite topics about the holidays is, helping you get out of the kitchen. When it comes to the holidays, like Thanksgiving, and I know Canadians have Thanksgiving coming up on next Monday, next week. And then in November, the US has their Thanksgiving. And then, of course, we're into all the holidays that take place in December. And these are times when families come together. And it's sort of like, well, there's a lot of stuff that goes on. And I was sitting there. In fact, I've just been mind mapping it. I've been out there on the mind mapping and putting out like what are all the obstacles or the things you've got to think about and plan ahead for and all of this sort of stuff when it comes to planning for the holidays. And it was kind of interesting just going down the different paths of all the things that would pop up. Things like, what's the budget? How many people are coming in? Who's coming from out of town? Where are they going to be staying? Do we need to transport them? Do we need to pick them up from the airport, the train, the bus? However they got into town. Maybe they drove into town. Where are they going? Where are they going to be staying? Do we have the beds available at the house, or do we have to rely on somebody who lives local? Are you the only one that's local and everybody's coming to you this Thanksgiving? What's the honey-do list like? What things need to be done around the house before you're ready for the invasion? And it really is, when you think about it, holidays really are an invasion. You get all these people suddenly coming to your house, and there may have just been like a family of 4 that live there, maybe just a couple, maybe just solo, maybe they're all going to grandma's this week, this time and everything else. So, where does everybody live? What place are you gathering at this week? For the holidays, and it doesn't matter which holiday it is. It's any holiday that you celebrate together as a family, whether it's Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, what other ones are? I've got to make a list of all the holidays that come up around this time of the year. It's just like insane. So, where are you going for the holidays? Who are you invading for the holiday? Okay, visiting. It's family time. It's time to get together with family. I love family time. So, where are you going? What are you going to be doing? And who's taking care of, is there some, is the person who's hosting everything forking out the money for everything? How many people have you got coming? I mean, remember the other day I was talking about, where did that printout go? There was that guy that left behind, was it 322 descendants or something? Hang on. I know. I had it here. What did I do with that? There was that article I read out to you the other day about the guy that had, who was 101 and left behind. Hang on, is that it there? Yeah. How this guy in Texas left 336 descendants. Is everybody going to the same place for Thanksgiving? Well, that was in 1974, so who knows? And he passed at the beginning of May. But, that Thanksgiving, where was everybody meeting? Were they all meeting together? Were they doing their own thing? What was happening with Mum? Because Mum was still around. His wife was still alive at the time when he passed. And he was 103. I've got no idea how old she is. I'm going to have to go research that. See if I can find out how old the wife was when he passed. But, they had 336 descendants. And if you remember, it was 68 grandchildren, 60. Hang on, they had, between the two of them, they had 8 children, 6 daughters and 2 sons, so 8 children, 68 grandchildren, 220 great-grandchildren, and 40 great-great-grandchildren. Can you imagine the family? Oh, my gosh. I just get excited because the family, all get together for a reunion and you take the big family photo and the stories that could be told. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's another thing. Hang on. Sorry, the brain's just gone. Okay, I just wrote down 3 more things to put on my mind map, which I'm going to go and about getting out of the kitchen. But, you got to think about things like, all these people are coming over. Where are they going to be staying? Especially if they're coming from out of town. If they're local, it's not a problem. But if they're from out of town, where are they staying? How are they getting around? Is somebody are they flying? Are they coming by bus? Are they coming by train? Are they, how are they getting in? Are they driving? How are they getting into town? How are they going to get around town? Whose place is big enough to hold everybody? You got to think about these things. And then it's sort of like, well, where are we going to seat everybody when it comes time? Do you have enough plates, enough knives and forks and spoons and glasses and, the dinner, the service stuff? Do you have enough plates and all of that? Do you have enough bowls? How many do you need to borrow from local people? Do you not have local people you can borrow them from? Are you going to have to hire them, rent them out for the holidays and stuff? And there's places that will do that. Or you're just going to buy a whole bunch of paper plates and plastic knives and forks and let people go that way. So you don't have to worry about dishes afterwards. It's everything except for the serving bowl. We can get some really good disposable serving these days too. Hang on, my dog's just gone crazy. She's deciding it's playtime. So anyway, so you can get some, some disposable bowls and things like that. So are you going to have to do that? How are you going to prepare all the food that's going to be needed? How much food do you need for these people? Are they just going to be at your place for the holiday meal? Or are they going to, is your place like Grand Central Station where everybody meets and you're all hanging out together? Do you have enough chairs? Do you have to rent some chairs and tables for the weekend or for the break and that sort of thing? If you're going to be having everybody over. I remember there was, growing up, we would meet at Grandma and Granddad's place, and their place was not big. It was not big. They had their 4 children with their spouses or their grandchildren. And at the time, let's see, how many people did we have in that photograph? We had a really cool family photograph that was taken in Christmas of 1984. That was a very special photo because I wasn't even sure if I was going to make it to Auckland for Christmas with my family. I was in the Air Force at the time, and so riding Air Force transportation, and there was a probability I could have been loaded off in the South Island. But if I said, and Dad says, just get to the north. If you can get to the North Island, we'll pick you up wherever and drive you. Which I think, that's what happened. I got offloaded in the North Island, thank goodness. And so they were able to drive me up to Auckland. But there was my mum and dad and my two brothers and myself. So that Christmas, we weren't sure if I was going to make it or not. I had a cousin that was 24 days old. So that was her first Christmas. And in the photograph, she's actually being cradled by my grandfather. And that it turned out to be my grandfather's last Christmas with us because he passed the following June. So it's a very special photograph, and we're not quite all in it because you had to have a photographer. So there were several photos that were taken with different people taking turns to be photographers. But my dad had 3 siblings who were married. So they were all there. So that's 8 adults right there. There was my grandma and granddad's, that was 10. And then there were us grandkids. There was myself, and my 2 brothers. There was my aunt's 2 children. So we're up to 5. My uncle's 2 children, so that's 7. And then the youngest 2, which were, so 9. There was 9 grandchildren there. So we had 19 people. And we were at that one, for that particular one, we're at my aunt and uncle's place, which was a bigger place than my grandmother's place. And, but we had, everything was loaded onto the table. I think the kids sat at the table and the adults sat in the living room with food on their laps. We didn't use table and chairs at that point because we didn't have enough space for all the tables and chairs. And that was 19 of us. Actually, that was quite a, 19 of us. That was quite a to-do. So it was interesting that way to, we had 19 people there. And when I was growing up, my grandma and granddad's place, we had close to that number. We had anywhere from, let's see, there would have been the 10 adults. And then the children varied over the time. But there was us 3 kids, and then, or actually 5 of us, because there was the older 5, and then there were the younger ones. And so that it slowly grew over time. But we all just basically balanced plates on our laps, sat on the floor and ate, sat on the couches and ate. Nobody sat at the table because the table was where the food was put out. So it was buffet style. But, you've got to think about things like, these logistics and things like that. And now when I think about how big that living room was, we did pretty well to get that many people in there. And then there was one year when my great aunt came over from America and brought her kids with her. It wasn't for Christmas. It was just for a visit. And Grandma and Granddad, all their kids were there with their kids. And then my great aunt Marge was there with her children. It was, and some of them had their spouses with them. So it was a very, very full household. And you were literally just stepping, if you wanted to, you just found a space on the floor and sat. You had to step over people to get to you. And we had dinner there. We had a meal there. We put all the food on I remember spending a lot of time in the kitchen. My cousin, who's 2 months older than me. I totally forgot her birthday. No, her birthday's coming up. Whew, her birthday's coming up. It's on Monday. Exactly 2 months between us. Her and I spent a lot of time in the kitchen helping my grandmother get the food out. And my mum and my aunts were also in there as well, helping get food out. And everybody's just sitting around talking, and there's all these different conversations going everywhere, and the kids are playing together and everything else. And it's like an L-shaped. It was a very small room, but it was L-shaped. And basically, if there was a spot to sit, you just sat. Every chair was used, every couch was used. But it sort of gets me thinking, today and that was just our family. And some families are bigger, some are smaller. So the smaller ones are a little easier to accommodate. But when you get the bigger ones with lots of people coming in, what do you do? There are times when, I've always thought about this with my log cabin. I thought I was going to have one bedroom. Upstairs is going to be a loft. And the loft is for when the grandkids come to stay. And basically there's going to be futons there, futon mattresses rolled up on the floor. They just unroll them so the whole floor becomes covered in mattresses. Throw down some sleeping bags and some pillows. They're done. That's it. They're good to go. That's my thought with the grandkids. The parents, they'll stay in the building that's going to be next door. And so they'll be kid free. That's my dream. That's my dream. But it's sort of like, thinking about where are they going to stay? And then there's all the food. Is everybody staying at one place? What are you going to do about all the food? Do you have enough storage for the food? Are you going to have to be going to the supermarket every day to make sure that you have food? There probably will be a lot of supermarket visits in there as things run out because they haven't been calculated correctly or something, or you've forgotten something off the list. Who's going to be preparing the meals? When do you get to, if you are the person who is hosting, when do you get to sit down and have quality time with your family that has come to visit? And that's sort of like a lot of things. And then there's the honey-do list that has, all the stuff that's got to get done before everybody comes in, the rooms that have to be cleaned, making sure there's clean sheets on beds, and making sure you have places for the kids to bunk down in a family room, in a living room, wherever. Maybe you've got a spare room that's just got nothing on the floor. You throw down some mattresses and they sleep down there. And what are you going to do for, who's cooking all the thing? Where's the food going to go? What are you doing with the leftovers? And, there's all these sorts of questions that come up, and I just mind mapped a whole bunch of them. And I was like, oh my gosh. My solution, I actually have two. One is land-based and one is not. So my land-based one is you go to you all fly down to one of the Caribbean islands and go to an all-inclusive resort. Everything's taken care of. The entertainment, the food, the accommodation. It's all taken care of. It's all included. There will be some activities that may require an extra expense, but most of the activities are included. You're there by the beach. You've got the pool. You've got kids programs in there as well. So you get to spend more time together as a family and get that more quality time together. And you're exploring a new. You may not even leave the resort. You may just do everything at the resort. Just hang out together for a few days at the resort, and let the resort take care of all the meals, all the cleaning of the rooms, because you're going to have to, and you don't have to worry about laundry either. That was my other thing, laundry. And all of the showers that need to be taken. How many bathrooms do you have, and how many people you got coming in? And you can't really add on another bathroom. So what are you going to do when, if you've only got 2 bathrooms, what are you going to do? And you've got 30 people in your house and you've got 2 bathrooms. you know, the hot water is going to run out unless you've got one of those on-demand hot water systems. And so, you've got to think of the things like this. But if you go to an all-inclusive resort, it's all taken care of. Everybody has their own little villa. Everybody comes together for meals. You go off, you do stuff together. There's activities that you can do. Some are free, some are not. There's entertainment. Everything's included. And then the other side of the things, if you don't want to do it at an all-inclusive resort, go on a cruise ship. Then let the crew take care of you. The staff will take care of you for the land-based all-inclusive resort. But if you go on a ship, your accommodation's included, all your meals are included, all the entertainment's included. You've got most activities are included. There are some that on board where they charge you a fee for it based on what it is, but most of the time, a lot of the stuff's you could have your own pickleball tournament on top. Have your own pickleball tournament on a cruise ship, or a basketball match or something like that. And you have a family basketball match. If you're on something like Royal Caribbean, go do the wave rider and see who can stay on the surfboards the longest. I tell you, that is the best. For me, on a Royal Caribbean ship, going up and watching those on the wave rider, that is the best free entertainment on board the ship ever. I just sit there and watch people. Some people are really good and are able to stand on the surfboards and stuff. And then other people, as soon as they get on their feet, the board's gone. So you're watching all the spills and all that sort of stuff. But I don't video it. I just watch. It's just great entertainment. And especially hearing their family and friends who are with them, ribbing them about how bad they were and all that sort of stuff, and talking about the wipeouts and which one had the best wipeout and stuff like that. It's actually it's very entertaining. On the wave rider. I say the wave rider? Yeah, the flow rider. Yeah, flow rider. So, on board those sorts of, and so there's a lot of different activities on board the ship to cater for everybody. And they take care of, the cruise ships will have got kids programs, toddlers programs, and teens programs. So, you can even be kids free for a couple of days or something like that on board a ship. You can all hang out by the pool together. You can go to the evening shows together. You can dine together. And the cool part about getting out of the kitchen and having somebody else take care of it all for you, when you're on board a ship or at an all-inclusive resort, you don't have to worry about the picky eaters. They are catered for. You don't have to worry about those that have food allergies. They're catered for. You don't have to worry about those that are on some special eating plan or lifestyle, whatever. They are taken care of as well, and you don't have to worry about it, which is the really cool part, is that you don't have to remember, we can't have peanuts in the house because little Johnny's allergic of them. Not a problem. You're on a cruise ship. Know what the allergies are. They'll make sure the food's made without those allergy foods in them. So you don't have to worry about, we've got to this person's only doing vegan, or this person's doing no dairy, and don't worry about it. On a cruise ship and an all-inclusive resort, it's taken care of. You don't have to worry about that. And the cool part is you're out of the kitchen and you actually get a chance to sit down and relax with your family and have that quality time together. You can be sharing memories around, telling the kids, the grandkids, the great-grandkids, if they're on board, different stories about times gone, either from your own childhood or watching their parents grow up or their grandparents grow up and things like that, stories from their childhood, bringing back all those memories and sharing those stories. And it's and that makes it such an amazing time for connection and things. And the cool part, if you're on a cruise ship, you can go exploring different destinations together, because the cruise ship doesn't stay in one place. It moves. You start in one port, you wake up the next morning, you're somewhere else. And you can go explore together. And because you're going together on a cruise ship, there's group rates available. You can even get group rates for shore excursions as well. On some of the shore excursions, if you've got a certain number of people and upwards, you can actually book your own private shore excursion. And, we help you with all of that sort of stuff. So it's just, to me, it's sort of like a no-brainer of getting on a cruise ship for the holidays and letting the crew on board the cruise ship take care of you. So you guys just kick back, relax, spend time together, enjoy that family connection, that quality time together. Because you never know when, whose last holiday it's going to be with everybody. So make it count. Get on a cruise ship, let somebody else do the cooking. And I will tell you this, I have not yet experienced a Thanksgiving on board a cruise ship, but I have heard from people who I have sent on cruise ships that the crew did they do a great Thanksgiving spread. They have a special Thanksgiving menu on Thanksgiving Day for those that want the turkey and the stuffing and everything else. They have other options available for those that don't, but they have very traditional turkey dinner stuff. The stuffing, the sweet potato casseroles or whatever, or they have the turkey and all the trimmings and all the side dishes to go with it. So they do, cranberry sauce and gravy and turkey and stuffing and whatever else is on everybody, pumpkin pie and all of that sort of stuff. So I have heard from from clients that have gone on Thanksgiving cruises that they had an incredible time and the food was brilliant and they got to have Thanksgiving dinner on Thanksgiving Day on board the cruise ship. So, think about it. And I have been on, I've been on a New Year's cruise. We boarded the day after Christmas, I think it was. We were not on for Christmas. We got on like a day or two after Christmas on the New Year's cruise that we did. It was amazing. It was awesome. They took really great care. They had a special menu just for New Year's Eve, and they had a special menu for that. But they'd had a Christmas cruise the week before, and I had heard from people who had been on that it was, and I met some people on that cruise that were doing back-to-back cruises. So they were taking a 2-week cruise. They basically got on the ship 1 week and they stayed on it for 2 weeks. So they got the Christmas cruise and the New Year's cruise on the same ship. In some cases, when you're doing back-to-back, if you can book them early enough, you can get the same cabin for the 2 weeks. Other times, there are times that you do have to actually move cabins. But they do their best to try and keep you in the same cabin if you're doing back-to-back cruises. And so they did a Christmas cruise followed by the New Year's cruise. They had a great 2-week holiday, and they just had a blast. And they said the Christmas meal the previous week was absolutely amazing. And it had not just US Christmas traditional dishes, but they also had some British Christmas tradition dishes on board as well on Christmas Day. So I thought that was really cool. I thought, what if they had steamed pudding? I love steamed pudding with custard. It's my favorite at Christmas time. Steamed pudding and custard with some Christmas cake. And so I thought, I've got to do a Christmas one year and see what they have on board. But it'll be good to go with the family, not as solo. So there are some ideas for you. So it's basically get out of the kitchen. All of those problems, all of those logistical things that you have to think of when family is coming in for a holiday on board a cruise ship, it's all taken care of for you. So, and there's less stress about it because you don't have people invading your house. You don't have people invading your house. It could be you all go to an all-inclusive resort, or you decide to go to a hotel. Maybe you might want to go to like a hotel resort rather than an all-inclusive. But the all-inclusive, everything's included. Your drinks, your food, your accommodation. Just think about it. So if you would like to know more information, just private message me. Send me a private message, and I'll be more than happy to connect with you. Should be a button. If you're watching this on YouTube, there is a button up in I think it's the left-hand corner, where you can click on it and it takes you to the calendar link where you can set up an appointment for us to talk. But anyway, that's it. Oh, and scrolling across the screen, coming up on October the 12th, we have 1 day only Networking Next Level. It's going to be live online. It is going to be incredible. I don't even know what the program involved, but I just know it's going to be incredible. I know it's taking what Networking Riches was and moving it up a few levels. So if you've ever attended Networking Riches, come join us at Networking Next Level on October the 12th. Click on havetonetwork.com and you'll get a complimentary ticket from me. So you'll be able to come with us and join us for the day. It starts at 8 a.m. Pacific time and goes to 4 p.m. Pacific time. It's just 1 day. That's it. It's a Thursday, and it's a week from this coming Thursday. So go out, have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. Hei konara.